Hello you and welcome back to a new video. Also, I have YouTube captions. In the Netherlands we have this tradition where it's not Santa Claus that visits us every year, but it's Sinterklaas, or as he would be called a long time ago, Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas also gives presents to all the children in the Netherlands, but obviously that's a lot of work. So, some families in the Netherlands try to help a little with what we call surprises. And the concept of surprises sometimes can involve a lot of crafting. So I thought I'll take you along for the ride. So, how our family does it is that everybody gets randomly assigned a different family member to make surprises for. I got my aunt, and my aunt really likes dancing and gardening. And after a little bit of brainstorming, I thought I'm making a dancing sunflower. Sunflowers signify like happiness and bright days. I thought that was a really nice message to send.
And so I started working on the project, the sunflower. Now, right here, you can see me painting brown an old shoebox because that is going to be the base in which the sunflower will be standing. I think the top of the sunflower is going to have quite a little bit of weight, which means it does need some kind of weight at the bottom of the whole thing to be able to stand upright. You can also see me putting some colorful dots on the top of the box, not because it especially means something, but more because I wanted to give it a little bit of a colorful touch. The next evening, when the paint had dried, I found another one of my ripped jeans, and I thought this green hand will really make a great stem for the sunflower. So I tried to find a way to attach the fabric to the cardboard, but I couldn't really find a good way, so I thought, well, I'll just glue gun it and hope for the best. And surprisingly, it sticked very well, which was a relief for me. And after a little bit of trial and error, it did stick the right way. But I did use quite a lot of hot glue, so I had to grab some more packets, which didn't go as elegantly as I wanted it to. After cleaning up all that mess, I started cutting some leaves because I needed to wait for the hot glue to dry. Now, I do not really have a plan at this point, but I thought I will need some leaves at some point, so I just grabbed some yellow paper and then started cutting leaf shapes. Then I very conveniently remembered a folding technique that I saw my little sister use for making the paper wigs she makes. And while I used it in a completely different way because I could not really remember the way she was using it, it inspired me to do it my own way. And I figured it out as I got to the point where I needed to have it figured out. If it somehow looks like I did have it figured out while I was making this, then my acting has improved a lot, I guess. But I realized that I could fold them and then stick them together to create this round shape of leaves, I guess. But I did not know how I was going to fix things to each other. I did not know anything. Every step of the way, I was worried that I was doing this all for nothing because the next step would not be compatible with anything else I wanted to do. And it was so nerve wracking. And then eventually I did see the end vision. It was actually about this time where I started piecing together the base piece to put onto the stem, and then I also made the flower itself a little bit more sturdy by using an insane amount of glue. And I also grabbed some sticks and stuck them to the leaves to just give them that little extra touch of sturdiness that some of the leaves needed. Then I, at cost of my own fingers, stuck the 2 layers onto each other, and then after a little bit of waiting, I could also put the brown circle on top of the last layer. Then it was finally done and I could put the whole flower onto the stem. I was so worried it would not be turning out in a good way, but it did, so that was such a relief.
Okay, so now we have the flower, and wow, I didn't really have a plan. It did turn out pretty well. But it's not really dancing yet, is it? So I had to think of a contraption to make the flower dance. And for the mechanism I had in mind, we have to move to the shed. Waarom hebben we zo'n karige houtslipper voorraad? Oké, even kijken. Die is wel goed. Alleen even oplossen voor de splitters.
Okay, so the idea was that I would just stick the wire into the hole we just created. But then I realized that I did not take into account the top of the flower, which is a lot heavier than just a little bit of paper, because there is also a lot of glue on it and there's sticks in, all that stuff. So it kept falling down. So I realized I needed to think of a new thing.
We moeten hem dubbel vouwen.
And now my dad really helped me with this. He thought of a way to not only double the strength, but I need to do a lot of complicated math for this to say how much stronger it becomes when you twist it all the way. But he thought to twist it because that makes it even more stronger, which is something I really needed for this project. And he then also twisted it for me, and then I could go further on with shaping the wire the way it needed to be. When I was finally relieved of the stress that the flower would not stop bending downwards, I got it fixed in the right position, and then I got some more equipment to make the mechanism actually work. And then I got some string and I tied it around the base of, I can't keep calling it mechanism, but I don't know what else to call it. I tied it around the base, then I cut some holes in the box for it to go through, as the top of the box would also be placed on top of the whole construction. And then I glued it down and tested out the mechanism to see if it worked, and it did, and I was really relieved when it finally all came together.
A part of making a surprise is also making a poem for the person that you make your surprise for. My poem is in Dutch. Can I translate it on the spot? Sinterklaas was thinking what he would be bringing. I can't translate this on the spot. Anyway, my poem goes something along the lines of: nu kan je je huis prettig bewonen, dan nog de tuin, mooie plantjes en bomen, heldergroene struiken om aan alle mensen te tonen. Zeg het maar, maak het er van je dromen. Over dromen gesproken heeft er nog meer. Oh ja, dansen, nu weet de Sint het weer. De Sint kent dat wel hoor, iets met een hip en een hop, dan ga je heen en weer. Helemaal top. Of het nu polka is, polonaise of paaldans, de Weense wals of misschien Engels of Frans. Ballet kan ook, modern jazz en klassiek, dans op allerlei soorten muziek. De Sint vindt het moeilijk hoor, buikdansen of voging. Maar ook aan de moonwalk en Macarena waagt de Sint geen poging. Wacking, hakka, of was het nou hakken? Die dingen zijn niet voor oude takken. Oh, I forgot that I put this in. It's not the best surprise I have made. I know of myself I can make way better things, but it is what it is. They thought the flower was really pretty. Writing in poems in our family, the standard is pretty high. Yeah, it could have been better, honestly, but you know, it's fine. Everybody was really surprised by the flower, so that's really nice. But that's life. Next year it'll be better. Next year I'll have a year to redeem myself. Oh, I have to show you guys what I got. Oh, nee. I got a Titsoni. 15. Because I like to play D&D. I am looking forward to next year so I can redeem myself. But until then, I'll go and do different things, different crafts. I have some ideas lined up already, so I'm looking forward to making those videos. But I am also foreseeing a lot of edit work, so I'm not sure how quickly that will be. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye! Auw. Waarom is hete lijm zo heet? Auw, 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 auw. Whoa, I wrote this down like 2 hours ago and I still can't remember anything.